Hello, my dears. This is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, and we are continuing to talk about how to manage brain fog. Ubiquitous with these chronic illnesses, just limiting our mental capacity. It just seems like a thick blanket that comes in and coats everything and gums up the works, makes things run more slowly, makes words unfindable, makes the memory have holes in it, makes things that just yesterday we could think of or recall or calculate not possible today. And for me, managing this for the last 10 years, I've come up with some tools that have helped me function. And one of those tools is pairing different habits. And so the one that I'll suggest today is about the fact that many of us dealing with chronic illness have to take pills every day. For me, that pill routine happens 4 times a day, sort of morning, noon, evening, and bedtime. And so I have different functions or activities or sort of reminders that I pair with each of those times that I'm opening my pill box. And then I also have sort of a grand weekly activity that I pair with when I fill my pill box every week. And so the one, for example, in the morning is that when I take my morning pills, I also scroll through my to-dos, and you can check back with day 1 of these tips to see how do I create my to-dos. And if I am not feeling well enough to complete the to-dos that are on my list for that day, which quite often happens, then I take those to-dos and I set them off to the next day. So my to-dos are electronic. And so if I've got some phone calls to return or some activities that I'm going to try and complete, then I put them to the next day, because if I just leave them on that day and I don't get them done, then, Lord knows if I'm ever going to remember to try to do them again, or if they're, ever going to come to mind again, so they could just fall off the end of the earth, and that to do will just never get to done. So that's one of the things that I pair. Or I spoke the other day about the journal that I keep, where I catalog the pain that I'm having, and perhaps you have other things that you're trying to track about your illness every day. And if I don't have a time that I'm supposed to track that, forget about it. It is not going to happen. So the time that I track my migraine pain every day, and if I'm tracking other bodily pain, is with my evening pill set. So every time that I take those evening pills, it's a reminder to me to grab the journal and open to the page that is where I track my daily migraine pain and just write down that number 1 to 10 that is the pain that I'm experiencing right then. I mean, it might have been different earlier, it might be different later, but at that time, that's representative of what pain I'm having right then. Similarly, when I'm filling my pill box once a week, that's my trigger to me to look ahead and see, are there any prescriptions that I need to order? And I also use it as an opportunity to look at, as I've mentioned, I do subscriptions for the household around sort of like toilet paper, paper towels, dry goods. Are there any of those that also need to be updated? And so I take that once a week, sort of pan back as an opportunity to update those other things that might need to be updated. So pairing things together so that it's one less thing to remember. I sometimes forget to take my pills in any of those 1 to 4 times, but it's uncommon. And part of that is that I use alarms and reminders to trigger me into making sure that those are habits that I keep. So that's one of the ways that I cut through some brain fog. Love to hear about your tools. So sound off in the comments below and let us all know how you handle things. Thanks for being here. And until next time, be well.